Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Our guest today is an author that will take contemporary literature to a new era with her new novel, We the Dreamers, a book tackling love, identity crisis, and mental health. It's yet to be published by Sarah. However, Sarah is hoping the TikTok trend Book Talk will help get her novel recognized. Welcome to the show, Sarah Madani.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
You know, so the last time we hung out, we went for one of our work ventures, you were telling me you're going to start writing a book and you want to get published. And, that's something you always see yourself doing. And now you've finally done it. After, I think, how many years was this book in the process?
Almost a year and a half.
A year and a half?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations, amazing.
Huge.
Thank you.
Tell us more about the book. Tell us more about yourself.
And why did you decide to write it?
Oh, okay. So the writing part goes back a long way because I've been wanting to be an author since I was, I think, 10 years old. But I've been writing before that. I do remember picking up like a random notebook when I was 6 and just writing in it because I wanted to. Did that at 8 again. Wrote a story about these two twins. I put like these two Snow White stickers that were like laterally inverted. And I'm like, this is one character, this is one character, and this is the story. And yeah, I think I've been writing forever. I just didn't realize it. And then at 10, I remember I got this new notebook from my dad. And I was like, I'm going to write a book in this and I'm going to get it published. And my dad said, yes, do it. We're going to get you published. I said, yeah, let's do it. But of course, that didn't happen. I've been writing lots of novels over the years and I always leave them incomplete. And this is the first novel which I started and actually finished. And I just knew I had to get it published. And it's also the genre of the novel is contemporary fiction. And I never imagined I would write such a genre because I was always into fantasy, dragons and swords, right? But in 2019, I had this change of heart because at university, I was studying journalism, which was a contrast to what I wanted to study, which was literature, right? So journalism put this whole new perspective for me. And then suddenly I found myself thinking, we should write something that's more relatable, that's more modern day. And that's Dubai, because this is home for me. It took me a while to realize that, but I just wanted something that was home here, that would personify the city, that would show life as it is here. So I was like, let's do it. In 2019, I had this idea of writing a book based in Dubai. And the first thing I did was go to my lecturers, Miss Nadia, and I was like, hi, I have this idea. What do you think? So she said, okay, talk to me after class. And she actually sat down with me and she said, so tell me what you have in mind. And I'm like, wow, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
This is a book in Dubai. And then she was like, that's great. That's better than the other. Because she knows all the bad ideas are bad. She's read the worst of my articles. so she was like, yeah, the thing about writing books is that you should always write what you know. So that way you're true to yourself. And of course, people are always interested to know other people's stories. You can't always have the same culture, the same protagonist, telling the same story. No, everyone's unique and people want to read that. And so I took that to heart. And then I wrote what I knew. And I think I started this right after I finished university in 2021. And it took me a year to finish it. And yeah.
So let's go deeper. It's called We the Dreamers. What is the book actually about? And did you draw inspiration from real life?
Oh, that is a good question. So We the Dreamers, as you can guess from the titles, it's about young people. So we have two main characters. One's a girl character, Mahra, and she's an Indian expatriate, and she lives in, not Dubai, she lives in Ajman. You guys know because I live in Ajman.
Making the struggles real.
Yeah.
Whoa!
So the thing was, I'm biased towards Dubai, yes, but I'm also biased towards Ajman. It's a city I really love because my home is there. So I wanted to put that city in as well. So of course, one of the characters just had to be from Ajman, right? So anyway, we have this Indian expatriate character, Mahra, who is going through this tough time in life where she's having sort of like an existential crisis. I'm sure everyone has that phase in life and they start questioning purpose. The meaning of life. So she's going through that, but really badly, right? And she was always an optimistic person who now suddenly has become cynical, and the sort of dreams that she had, she thinks they're all useless and they don't make sense. So she just stopped being a dreamer. So we have Mahra, who is going through her mental health struggles. This is the beginning of it, but she doesn't realize it. Then we have, on the other hand, our boy character, whose name is Ammar. So he is Emirati. But he's not fully Emirati. I mean, like, he's Emirati, but like his mom is Indian and his dad is Emirati, right? So he's also mixed culture that way. And he's the sort of guy who's easygoing, goes through life like it's a breeze. He's super optimistic. He's a social media star. So, you know, he's the sort of extroverted character who lives life one day at a time. And he's the sort of guy who just suddenly goes like, okay, life is much more than just enjoying me. I should do great things. So he's just become a dreamer. So we have these two polar opposite characters, one, you know, different in their mindsets. And so fatefully, they meet in a car crash. But they don't meet in a car crash. They have a car crash, and that's their first interaction. But then obviously nobody talks in a car crash. Wow. So, you know, they have a car crash. They go home. A couple of weeks later, at one of a mutual relatives' wedding, they meet again, and she doesn't remember him. He does remember her, so of course they strike up a conversation, and from then on out, it's yeah, the whole novel starts properly, I guess, from then on out.
Oh, got you. Amazing.
So interesting, and like very relatable personality traits over there, and just like it's so. I mean, I was gonna ask you, so what actually happens at the end?
No, don't.
Yeah, don't.
I could give it. Not a spoiler as such, but most people don't expect this, but I'm just gonna come out and say it. Towards the end, there's a...
You can't
say it! Say it! No,
it's a thematical thing. It's not a spoiler.
Okay, fine.
It's a thematical thing. And I think...
I hate spoilers in books.
I love
that
reading.
Is me. And then if I know the end, I'm like, what's the point? Because reading is... Yeah, it takes time. And
yeah, that's
anyway,
true.
You can continue.
There is the pandemic at the end. So this my story actually starts around towards the end of 2019. So my characters faced the pandemic in the beginning of 2020, March around. So the thing is, what really happened, it's not a spoiler again, but because most people have gone through that. So, you know, the pandemic affected everyone differently. For an introvert like Mahra, the pandemic, the lockdowns where she got seclusion was like a blessing for her. But for Ammar, who was extroverted, the lockdowns had a, you know, detrimental effect on his mental health. And so we have the tables turned for our characters towards the end.
Wow.
And I thought that was very interesting because I didn't know I was writing that. At this point, I was not even the writer. Somebody else was writing this, and I was like, I want to know what happens next. So, yeah, so that's all I'm going to say. No more spoilers.
What does happen next?
No
more spoilers. So I'd love to know, what has the journey been like as a young writer attempting to get a book published?
Oh, it's been harrowing. It's well, not that harrowing. The thing is, I'm going to the traditionally publishing route. So in publishing, there are 3 routes you can take. One's the traditional one, where you reach out for a literary agent who will see if they think your work is good enough, if they want to represent you, and then they will voluntarily represent you and then send your book to the big publishers, you know, who will then give you a contract, and you know how it goes on from there. Then you have what they call hybrid publishing, which is also called vanity publishing. It sounds kind of... so what you do is you go to a publisher and you pay them to publish a book. So now in Dubai, the publishing market's still very new, and a lot of publishers have popped up, but most of them have this hybrid sort of model. So I've been approached by a Dubai publisher who wanted to publish my book, but because of this model, I was unwilling to do it because I said, you know, like there's something to me that I would like to be traditionally published, because that way you can make, not that hybrid publishers are not talented, it's just that way you can know that you've written something people want to read, and if somebody else voluntarily takes on your work, that means you must have done something great. And the third one is self-publishing, where you can, of course, just directly publish it or put it on Amazon Kindle, Kindle direct publishing, and just put it up online for people to read. So I'm going through the traditional publishing, which I know is very difficult, but I'm persistent. So
well, there's many ways to get your book recognized. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah, yes. But I just want to go back a little bit and ask you about like the process of writing the book. So just run me through, like, how did it happen? Like for you, was it you planned out the chapters first, or you wrote the book, kept it going as it was, and then you did the chapters at the very end? Like as you finished, you categorized the stories.
So the thing is, I'm a very chaotic writer. For my first novel, I know most people go chapter 1, chapter 2, but no. One day I'd wake up and say, I'm in a bad mood, I'm going to write a sad scene, let's do it. And then I would pour all my emotions out and write that scene where I know this character is going to struggle through that issue. So I would, you know, sort of channel my emotions into my character, and then one day if I woke up happy, I'm like, let's write the happy scene.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I'm very chaotic that way. But sometimes, of course, you can't do that always. Sometimes even if I was in a bad mood, I had to sit down and just write the happy scene because I had to get my book done on time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
That's
so
amazing. That's such an
interesting.
interesting process. So I have to tell you something. There's 2 or 3 books that I've read. It starts with us. By the way, have you guys read these? It starts with us. It ends with us. And I'm reading Daisy Jones and the Six, which, by the way, has just been made into a show, and the other one has been made into a movie. I didn't know that these started as trends on Book Talk, and that's why they became so famous.
Yes.
So for those people who don't know, first of all, can you explain what Book Talk is?
So there's a niche in TikTok where people just talk about books, characters, and everything book related, and that's basically called Book Talk. And on Book Talk, people fangirl to the nines. I mean, not in a bad way. They just share their love for reading, share their love for writers and authors, and that in recent days has become really big because
Amazing.
Authors get recognized. We had like you mentioned, Colleen Hoover starts with us, ends with us. She, I guess nobody knew. I'm not saying nobody knew her, but she became a big deal right after TikTok. We had that Madeline Miller's The Song of Achilles. It got published like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and one day the author woke up and she's like, my book's on the New York Times bestseller list. How is this happening? And then somebody, from the newspaper reached out to her and said, your book's viral, it's trending on TikTok, and then people love it so much.
TikTok's done it again.
TikTok's done it again. And for such a cynical person as me who never believed in TikTok, I was like, maybe I should talk about my book on Book Talk.
Yeah. So Book Talk is what exactly? For those like me who don't, I'm not really sure. So is it like an account? Is it a hashtag?
No, it's let's say it's a hashtag where, for example, anything book related, when a creator makes content, they will tag it as hashtag, and the book community will obviously get that content. Like, for example, if you have other interests, like say you like going to the gym, you're going to get a lot of workouts in your account, in your For You
algorithm.
And so anything that's gym related will be in gym talk, right? So this is Book Talk. Anything that's book related will come to you.
So have you been using it to get We the Dreamers seen more widely?
Yes, I have. It was a very also impulsive decision in the middle of the night. I was like, what is it that I'm doing wrong, right? No, of course, publishing is a long way, but I just, of course, when you do something which you really believe in, you want to make sure it gets out there. So I said, why not try Book Talk? It looks like something that just might work. So I started making these videos on Book Talk. So like most of the writers, they go on camera and they start speaking. Well, that's not something I do often. So I was like, no, let's just put aesthetics. Let's put videos and those emotional feel sort of quotes, or like just to get them feel of what my novel's about.
Yeah.
So I started making those videos. And it was a lot of fun making them because I love the comments. People like, oh my God, what happens next? I want to read this. Oh my God, thank God for you writing this for us expats. We're finally going to be seen.
Oh,
I love those sort of comments. And so I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right. So, my day is made.
That is so amazing. We love that you're getting the response, and a massive congratulations for getting the book written and hopefully to get it published. So what is your message to young authors today after going through the whole process?
My biggest message would be like, if you want to write a book, just sit down and write it. I used to see a lot of other writers give the same advice, and I was always like, I get it, but no, that's the thing. When you finally get words onto a page and you realize, yes, this is what I've been hoping for so long, and when you realize, okay, I've done it, then you will come to that point when you're like, I am an author today. I've written a lot over the years, but it was not until today that I know that I'm an author. So just sit down and write and be persistent. Don't give up. I know things are hard, things take time, but all good things happen in time. So
that is so amazing to hear. Well, massive congratulations. What you've done is so impressive. And now you're officially author Sarah Madani.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We truly appreciate your time, and we cannot wait to read the book when it is published officially.
Soon, inshallah.
When?
I've sent it to the publisher and they take really long to respond. So we have 6 months to go for the publisher to respond.
Yalla!
Yalla, publishers. You heard it here first. We the Dreamers. It's about to blow up on Book Talk, TikTok. But you can get there first, guys. That is all we have time for on the Lovin Dubai show this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're back with you tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye.
Bye.